Hey guys, how's it going? This is Jeffrey, of course, your super blind man here. I wanted to quickly throw out a video because I just watched a video, and I guess I'm kind of making this as a response and I guess, if you will, a support to the good people at Audioholics. I love those guys. I'm a huge fan. I know I do a lot of these videos in the dark. I don't know. I'm blind. I don't need light, and I guess that's probably more intimate setting. But anyway, um, I would just like to say, the guys at Audioholics got it right. And every single time uh, Gene Delasala launches something regarding wires, I love it. The guy knows what he's talking about. Now, I'm not an electrical engineer. Gene most certainly is. I grew up with electrical workers in my ear constantly talking about all kinds of things that I'm kind of strange. Later on in life, I actually learned from my own memories. I don't know how to actually describe that, but it seemed like later on in life, I started to absorb information from my memories. And I just would go back and remember things that people had said, and all of a sudden, oh, and I started to kind of understand how those things worked. And it was very fascinating. I don't know if it's something to do with my hearing or something, but I tend to have what I call the cockpit voice recorder. I hear absolutely everything, and I can actually go back if I just kind of meditate, contemplate on it. I can go back and hear things that I was not aware I was hearing before, and recall conversations in a room or things like that I just had never heard before. So I don't know. That might be a little strange. I don't know if that's common, but kind of interesting. So I really started to get interested in this, and of course I started to get interested in home audio. But let's get straight on to the point. Of course, they talked about wiring, and wiring is a sensitive subject. It really is. A lot of these people just get ready to pull out the catapults, trebuchets, and the siege ballistas and start bombing your house. With toilets and pumpkins and all kinds of confetti of different sizes and shapes whenever you start to mention wiring. But I wanted to point out some of the things that he said and back him up, because he had a wire with him called the TC, the 8TC by Kimber Cable. I'm a huge fan of the technology behind Kimber Cable. They're really excellent, a great company based right here in Ogden, Utah, close to me. I live in Midvale, Utah. I'm not too far away. I'm South Salt Lake. A lot of this pseudoscience will try to sell you all this crap. I'm not going to go into that. I've mentioned that several times, but let me get right straight on down to the factors I believe are most important in cables. And he said this. I'd just like to back this up and give you a reason why, a visual on this, if you will. Copper has crystals in it. Matter of fact, the way that a geologist knows, which is the only class I ever got an A in, I'm an extremely intelligent man, but I hate paperwork. So anyway, for some reason I was very passionate about geology, so I love the class and I got an A in it. Well, anyway, the only way a geologist knows that they have struck or anywhere near gold is because they started to find quartz crystal. Okay, copper forms in these areas too. So if you find gold, it's likely you'll find copper, and actually vice versa. The Bingham copper mine out here actually has large veins of gold that they won't mine because it costs too much to actually mine it. Okay, so they just block the vein off. They'll find veins of gold all the time. They'll just block them off because they don't want to mine it. It's too expensive. They're a copper mine. That's what they make. So anyway, to get back to the subject, copper has crystals in it. Now, the purest copper is one with the least crystals. One crystal per molecule, I believe it is, PCOCC, which is pure crystal, pure copper, pardon me, all these C's, pure copper crystal cast. I want you to visualize the scene in Return of the Jedi where Luke and Leia are on the back of speeders and they're flying through the forest. This is exactly what electrons are going through when they're going down a copper line. Okay, so imagine the purer the copper, the less amount of trees in the forest for you to navigate around. Okay, OCC, the spacing is so wide, it's very simple to get through those trees. Okay, it doesn't take much navigation at all. But the less pure, the more crystals there are, and very difficult for you to make it through that forest alive. Okay, so that having been said, the purity of conductors is important. What they are sheathed in is important, because if you add color, you add minerals, you therefore add electromagnetic interference from the color doping itself, right? So you can actually slow down. Okay, you're getting resistance, right? It's interfering with the inherent EM signature of the copper itself. So you're changing what's being heard on the other end of the cable if you use color doping. That's why another reason why I like Kimber cable. They do not use color doping. They use pure white Teflon as a dielectric to stop jumping, I'm sure, from, too much capacitant from, happening along the cable. Anyway, so they do that as a means to sheathe the cable from itself, from other conductor strands. Then they also have shielding, which is pure, just mineral-free rubber stuff, right, to act as shielding between that copper and the rest of the outer world. Very interesting stuff, and it's interesting, but easy to understand, isn't it? Very, very simple. The third most important is termination, okay, the connections on the end, the way that those connections are made. Now, WBT is the only one I would recommend you use. Bronze is just not good. I'll give you another visual. Imagine flying down the Autobahn at 230 miles an hour in your beautiful Bugatti Veyron, and all of a sudden a brick wall appears right in your way. Will there be loss? Yes. There will be loss of life. There will be loss of dynamics. There will be loss of something if you're using things like bronze. Not bronze, brass. I keep wanting to say bronze. It doesn't matter. It's almost the same anyway. Okay, bronze is copper and tin. Brass is copper and zinc. Who cares? Okay, not the point. Point is that it's an alloy, and it takes that superconductor copper, which barely qualifies, and moves it back down to a conductor, if you're real lucky. The problem is you had a beautiful solid copper line, right? The Autobahn, and you threw a brick wall in the way. You're going to lose something there, okay? So WBT is great. It's expensive, but it is pure copper connections put on there in a solderless technique, and that's really cool. I mean, that's awesome for the audio quality. As a matter of fact, I think you'd just be plain stupid if you got Kimber cables that didn't go with the WBT. Why the hell would you do that to yourself, right? So that's important. It's important because you're not going to get things like thermocoupling, bird caging that happen because you hit a brick wall and ended up with a whole bunch of loss, okay? Right? You don't want that. You want that electricity to just keep on running through that circuit. Slick, smooth, and without interruption. The only way you can do that is by keeping the same material from one end to another. Now, if that's copper, that's fine. Copper with copper terminations. Boy, that's logical, isn't it? Right? Now, if you do the same with silver, silver also, actually, most people don't know, and I've said it before, is the fastest superconductor on Earth that's a mineral. So copper is not, and neither is gold. Silver is. So if you have a silver cable with silver terminations, again, same material. No thermocoupling. No crap. There you go, right? It's plain and it's simple, but you have to keep those three things in mind. Those are the most important. You don't need a battery on your cable. You don't need to freeze the freaking cable. You don't have to do all this stuff. That's what I love about Genius. He's so straightforward about that. I love it. I've always supported his point of view on that. So I just wanted to send this kind of support video out to him and the people of Audioholics and say, hey, I know I didn't have permission to make this, but thumbs up, guys. I mean, I love you. You always tell it like it is, and I love that. So yeah, you know what? And again, I'll say it right here at the end. Conductors, the purity of conductors, the number of conductors helps too. Okay, it does help with dynamics. If you have more conductors, you're just going to have a better signal, period. Okay, you know, you're going to get more bass, more headroom, you know, better dynamics. But that also depends on the amount of amplification. If you're just running a receiver, I don't think anything above an 8 conductor strand is necessary, because you're not going to get that much power out of it anyway, right? But, you know, if you're looking at like the TC4 or TC8, great cables. And with WBT, blam, they're even better, okay? But, you know, purity of conductors, what they're sheathed in, and how they are terminated, most importantly. Anything else is a bunch of shit. It really is, guys. Anything else is a bunch of shit. Now, is this stuff important? Yes, it is. Anyone who says that a wire and what it's made of and stuff is not important is lying to you, certainly, but within a certain aspect. Obviously, you know, doesn't need all these different colors and looks cute and blah, blah. No, it really doesn't. You don't need any of that stuff. All you need is good, solid conductors, a nice clear jacket. If you want Teflon in there, okay, whatever. Teflon's energy supportive. It's great. It works. Okay. Kimber Cable does it right. They definitely do. But, you know, you can go get some Blue Jeans cable and put WBT connectors on the end of it and make yourself a really great cable. Guys, it's not like you can't do this stuff yourself. You know, WBT connectors are available on Amazon, eBay, everywhere. Go get them. Okay? So, anyway, I thought I'd throw that video out there. Love you guys. I love the people at Audioholics. I'm glad that you made that video. I just had to kind of touch up there and throw my brush stroke on it. Thanks a bunch, and I love you.